Hey there, Mike Dunn with Gamingtrend, and once again, I've got Matthew Lillard. Matthew, it's good to see you again. I feel like we're kind of striking up a friendship here. This is what third interview.
Kumbaya, Mike. I hope you got my Christmas card.
You got mine, right?
I didn't know your dog was so handsome.
Today, I've got three lovely people who are working on a really awesome project with Quests and Whisky. Jasmine, I know from Acquisitions Incorporated. Big fan of Certainty Drawn, as well as Deze Quest, and may have seen our interview with Anjali Bhamani, I guess about a month or two ago, about that. And then Tyler Walpole, who is an awesome artist who's working on some of the art for this project. And Deven Rue, who is, I believe, contributing their cartography skills to this cool thing. So welcome to all of you. Thanks for taking time to talk to me about Sandkheg's Hide. And it's a Critical Role collaboration. I gotta say, the first question that comes to my mind is, how did you find enough Sandkegs to actually make enough bottles of this to distribute to fans?
Well, we go to where they die, and we wait. We wait patiently for them to finally pass, and then we go in and ethically extract the bile.
Nice.
Only in the
It's like that.
Only in the demise of the thing. Yeah.
It's a good thing that sandkegs are an invasive species. Otherwise,
Is there like a Sandkegs graveyard, like in that old episode of D&D cartoon where they had the dragon's graveyard or something?
Yes, there is. That's exactly right.
I just draw the maps to where they are and sit back and let everyone else do it because I'm not that kind of adventurous.
It's funny. So our packaging comes with a found journal, and all of your questions, Mike, will be answered in the found journal.
So it struck me like I guess this is your third or fourth release from Quest Sins, right?
Yeah, this would be our fourth release.
Fourth release, yeah, because you did the Paladin and then the Paladin +1, and then a couple of months ago you did Rogue. What really struck me about this one is that this really feels like kind of an extension of what you guys are doing with Beetle and Grimm's, where this is like an in-game thing, right? This could literally be an in-game prop if you're playing with Exandria or even any D&D game, to be honest. And then of course you've got it. It comes in a burlap bag, and it comes with a journal. Like, I guess what really kind of inspired you to take this approach as opposed to the approach you took with the other Quest Sin releases?
Well, first and foremost, we're looking at the collaboration with Critical Role. Like, what are they going to be excited about? What are Critters going to be excited about? We are not necessarily a brand that just wants to slap on a label that says Critical Role and sort of market it to a very popular and very voracious fan base, right? That doesn't add value. Our whole thing is like, what is the value we bring? You can buy any whiskey. We're not going to compete with Jack Daniels, right? So we have to, our value proposition is that we are going to create incredible spirit experiences and then build them to sort of celebrate what you love and where you love it, right? Whether it's this Critical Role sort of high fantasy RPG space or multiple other spaces. Like, this October we are launching our second sort of flagship, and that is based around an entirely different fan base. Yeah, so our whole thing is like, what do we bring? Like, what's our value add? And so in having the conversation with Critical Role, and sort of like I have a friend of mine who's a critter through and through, and I went to him and I was like, hey, what would you like? Is there a beverage? Is there a drink in Critical Role that makes sense? And his name's Chris Daly. He works with Beetle and Grimm's. He's a good friend of mine, and so he came back with like a 10-page dossier saying, these are all the drinks in Exandria. This is what in Vox, and so we built.
You're like, this is our product line for the next year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and looking at it, we're like, okay, and we went back to look at sort of that moment on the show, which is super iconic. It was fun. There was a huge, Mercer does a great job describing the bottle. The result is hilarious. Grog's hilarious in that scene. So we really thought, oh, this is a great opportunity for us to build something that celebrates an iconic moment, and we can deliver in a really cool way because it's so specific. And then we dug in and we started to build and started to create, and we're really excited with the result.
So, Jasmine, you wrote the accompanying story aspects of the journal. Am I right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's not my first time working with Matthew. We've worked on Relics and Rarities and Faster Purple Worm stuff before. And so, I considered him a great collaborator and friend. And when he reached out for this project, what stuck out to me most is that the product is something that exists in the world, and that was the approach we were taking for the packaging, was that this existed in the world of Exandria. And from there, I decided that I wanted the document we were reading to exist in the world as well. And so that's why it has this really cool, like sort of leather, like looking, journal thing. It feels like it was lifted right out of a D&D story and kind of put into, your hands when you first get it. And I was excited to tell this little story of how this drink was made. And so that was kind of the approach I took, is like kind of building that legend of, because the first thing you know about the drink is that it costs, I think, 500 gold a bottle, something that's just like very pricey. And so I was excited to kind of get into, well, why does it cost that much, and fleshing out that part of the world and that part of the story. And it kind of became a piece, not just about this beverage, but about the characters who made it somewhere along the way. And I'm really happy that it turned out that way. And I kind of created an outline for the story. And from there, Tyler and Deven came in, and that started informing, the map and the illustrations that were going to go with it. But they also added their own creative touches, which was so cool to kind of be writing the story alongside the art that was being like made in real time, because there was stuff that they would add that I would then add to the story. And we kind of went back and forth like that. And it was really cool. It was a really unique process, because a lot of times you finish a story 100% and then the artists come in and create pieces for it. In this case, it was like we had a general skeleton of what the story was going to be that I created, and they started the art, but then they would add little details and we would go back and forth. And so I think that's why the story is really special.
Deven, you made some maps. I'm assuming this is part of the journal that comes with the bottle.
That is correct. It's based off of Jasmine's amazing story, and was created to kind of like with inspiration from Tyler's work, so can make it as collaborative as possible. And it's written from, or drawn, I should say, from the perspective of one of the characters. And I actually have a lot of fun doing it. So it was so far it's been one of my favorite scout maps I've ever gotten to make.
Awesome. Very awesome. Tyler, talk to us about what you contributed to the project. I imagine it was less more about like packaging, but it'd be cool if you were involved in like kind of the dress of the product at all. But I imagine it's mostly material that enhances the story along with the maps.
Yeah, so the bulk of what I did was illustrations to kind of show the characters and setting that Jasmine was bringing to life. I was just trying to add some visual representation to them. And one of a unique aspect of this project was the fact that since this is it's an in-world journal, I actually got to kind of try and do drawings as though I was the character that's in the story, which is
cool.
Kind of a unique experience in my career. It's very rarely I get to draw somebody else's sketchbook. Yeah, so that was really cool, and the entire collaborative process was probably one of my favorites of my career.
Awesome. Yeah, I bet you never expected to be working on a project like this, like, something that goes along with a bottle of nice whiskey. It's not the sort of thing that you really, think about when you're a kid, with a pencil. I'm sure.
Well, it's been on my bucket list for a while, but yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, right on. Okay. My bad. Well, just based on the images that you guys have sent us, the packaging and the presentation looks amazing, which should come as no surprise because that's what you guys do. That's part of what you do. Obviously, what's inside the bottle is important too, but just from a collectibles fan standpoint, it looks amazing.
Tyler, does this mean canonically some of our characters can draw as well as you?
At least one of them.
If we come out with like a character sheet, that means they have to have like some kind of bonus to to performance with the specialization in drawing.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
I love it.
is the same character that's doing the map drawing doing the other drawings as well? Is that the idea, or are they two different characters within the story?
Definitely, it's the main character draws the majority of the map. And then we have another character that comes in and adds annotations to it.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
And Deven even like matched the rendering style I was using for the sketchbooks. She matched that for the map itself.
Yes.
So it's really special.
See, that was going to be my next question: is how did you guys sync that up stylistically? I imagine that was probably more fun than most people might think.
I rolled a nat 20 on forgery and just like absorbed Tyler's artistic ability. He doesn't know this yet, but he's
that good.
He's gonna slowly not be able to draw anymore. I've taken it. It's mine. I'm gonna go work for Marvel now.
Fantastic. The journal and the map and everything, is there an actual adventure included with this, or is it just ephemera to kind of nail the feel of Exandria and the
great word thing? Ephemera, delicious word.
Thank you.
Delicious.
One of my favorites. It's
good. I'm for sure using it later today when I go to work. It's very ephemera-y. There's no playable content here. It's a lot like Quest End. Like, we believe in building worlds, building IP, sort of telling a story, and maybe at the end, like, we have this idea of maybe doing an adventure at some point, but not at this point. We're so early in on the Quest End side in terms of 16 different drops, and to start thinking like we've got a lot of work to do before we get there.
Yeah, you're more about what's in the bottle, to be honest. Like, what really kind of went into the formulation of whiskey that really that you really felt kind of hit this particular point with the Critter fandom?
Yeah, it's not really the case. I listen.
Oh,
the whiskey aspect of it for me. Like, I like whiskey, but I'm not a big whiskey aficionado. For me, what's important to me is that we're delivering for a fan base. I think that's what we really care about at the core. On top of that, on delivering for the fan base, on delivering for people that have this love of something, we take great care in building a whiskey experience that meets their expectation. Like, all the juice, it's a blend of both Kentucky and Indiana. All the juice is 4 years plus. It's Cascade aged in vermouth, and there's a there's a vermouth finish, and there's a sherry finish. Sorry, and there's like all these incredible flavor profiles. So so Ali Ochoa took what she saw on the show and interpreted that in this liquid experience. And then last Friday,
Nice.
which is one of the cool things about it, last Friday we went and sat with the entire cast. And
Oh, wow.
Ali flew out. We flew out Ali from Kentucky. Our whole team met with the Critical Role team, and we sat down at the studio, and we went through this huge tasting. Like Ali brought her 3 favorite blends. She made 10 blends. She brought, a liter of each, and we sat collectively in fellowship for like an hour and a half. We went through the whole thing, and we decided what we thought would be the best representation for that moment on the show. Which,
Nice.
to be fair, was one of those things that. It was super fun for all of us. Like, it was a blast to sort of sit there and talk about, taste. There was 3 different blends. So you're tasting one and going back to the first after you've tasted all 3, like doing sort of like, having conversations around it, having conversations around, the flavors, the story, the moment it happened on the show. So there was something really special about that. And so when you think of the liquid, you have to think about the fact that all of us have put our time, energy, and effort into this whole experience. Not only the unboxing and the creative stuff. I mean, our creatives, Tyler and Deven and Jasmine, have all been extraordinary to work with. They've just crushed it. And they're all very well known to the critter community, which is why we went to them. But working with them has been it's just been a love affair. Everything has been like this sense of yes and the same thing with Critical Role. Like, our greatest fear in this was that would the creative team hold on to the world, like not allow other people to play in it. And
Right.
their credit, they've been nothing but gracious and like open, and have been incredible partners all the way through.
Now, Matthew said that everybody got to actually try some of the formulations of the whiskey. Were the 3 of you included on that as well?
No.
No, we haven't visited the distillery yet. So maybe
Field trip.
Matthew, fly us out.
Right? Come on.
I'm in.
Because from my understanding, I think you have to visit the distillery to get to taste the batch ahead of it being done. So
Gotcha.
And even
I mean,
if
I'm
that's
not
the case. It should be
hooked.
fly us out.
Right. I'll put in a word.
Thank you. You could just get right on that.
What fictional beverage would you most want if you've had your choice? If there was no barriers, what fictional beverage would you want Questin to make next?
I haven't actually thought of that. I mean, look, I love the idea of doing something space-based, right? The idea of like, could you do something out of Star Wars? Could you do something, out of...
Yeah, someone's already done blue milk, so...
Yeah, there you go. Or like, could you do Dune? Like, is there a world in which you build something that adds value to, to a fan base that has, that's voracious?
I had one. It's really embarrassing. Nuka-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's just Coke, but there's something about like when you're traveling the wasteland and you see the branding for it. Like, I would be playing, like, I love Fallout 3 in New Vegas, and I've played 1 and 2 as well, but just like there would be something whenever I saw the Nuka girl specifically that would like make me wish that was a beverage that existed. And I stream on Twitch, and my chat's always been like, isn't it just Coke? And I'm like, I feel like it wouldn't be. I feel like it would be something different. I don't know why. I just feel like it would just be something different. So I would love to make like a Nuka-Cola based alcoholic beverage.
I mean,
A Jack and Nuke.
right? It would be nuclear cola at that point, though.
Yeah.
It definitely would. I can't say that I had anything like a specific drink in mind. But I do love the idea of like signature drinks at fantasy taverns.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Tyler? Anything pop up in your head?
The thing I kept coming back to was there was an ad for, I want to say it was like Kraken rum. Maybe they had a commercial that had this guy telling this elaborate backstory about getting this cask across stormy seas, and there was tentacles and stuff that were happening. I could have the brand wrong, but it's just I kept coming back to that. I was like, oh, cool! It's like the origin story for this booze. That'll be a lot of fun.
We want to do, like, we always pitch Fine Familiar Spirits. We're like a movie studio. Both Justin and I, my co-partner, launched the company. We both come from film and television. So we're excited to announce, we're going to be announcing this thing in October. It's a tequila-based drink. So we're doing like sort of a season of tequila, Blue Agave. And we're building a fan base based in tequila that we think is going to be really exciting, that people are going to love.
Nice.
So my attention is like, I'm really excited about the next sort of vertical rather than a specific crossover, if that makes sense.
Nice. That makes cool. That makes sense. Like the first thing that came to my mind is one that you would probably never be able to live up to what's written about it, but you did mention space, and I was thinking the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. I would be shocked if we went that niche.
Right.
And we would have to look at it and try to figure out if it's like an absinthe or like what is the spirit.
Right.
But never say never. I mean, we do have a soft spot for literature, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe you could come with a pair of Jujunta 3000 peril sensitive sunglasses.
Oh my God, that is a very deep. I think I read a Vonnegut face in like 10th grade. I have not looked at it since, unfortunately.
I haven't looked at it probably since either, but I read it like 5 times in one summer. I loved those
that's
books.
Good.
That's
good.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us about this. It's a great idea. I can't wait to see it. Thanks again for talking with us, and yeah, definitely go get yourself a bottle of Sandkheg's Hide.